Welcome to another tutorial of the thermal system design class. So in this tutorial you're going to learn how to import a CAD file from an external source into ANSYS. So right now we're on SolidWorks and we're going to recreate our geometry that we did last time for the 3D simulation. We're going to recreate this geometry inside of SolidWorks and we're going to import it into ANSYS. So I'm not going to go into details on why or how to use SolidWorks. At the end of the day, you can use whichever software you feel more comfortable with. SolidWorks is just one of the most basic softwares that we as engineers will learn. So I'm not gonna go over every single part, but we'll just recreate this geometry really quick and import it into ANSYS. So we have our initial cylinder. We can go into features and we can extrude it. We're gonna make a mid-plane extrusion. So we have so our extrusion should be 10 inches. 5, 5 and 5. Same thing as working with symmetry on inside of ANSYS. Our extrusion back into the front plane. We create a rectangle from the center. To create the domain, 4 inches should be a 20 inch. This is supposed to be a 60 inch. Extrude again. We want to mid plane again. We don't want to merge with the cylinder that we already have, and this is supposed to be a 20 inch, so 10 and 10. So we have our geometry right here. Let's rotate the view. So we have our cylinder and our domain. And what are we gonna do next is that we're gonna save this, save as, and you're gonna put it wherever you want to access the file more. I already have some of them saved. This is because I'm working on I'm working from my apps, so that's why I had to save it beforehand and have it on my actual desktop in order to call it inside of ANSYS. But what you would do is that you will name your file, and ANSYS has some particular files that it accepts. So in our case, we're gonna save it as an IGS file, and that's how you will access your file when you import into ANSYS. As I said, I'm not gonna do it right now. just because I already have a version saved, but this is the geometry that we would have. So if we actually go into ANSYS, when we're inside of ANSYS of Design Modeler and we go to File and we import from an external source and we select the geometry that we want, it's gonna give us this and it's gonna ask us to generate the geometry. So if we generate, we can see that we have our 3D model right here. So we have the solid, so this is gonna be the cylinder, and we have our domain, and you can even do as we did it last time. So we'll have to perform a boolean. We would want to subtract from it. Our targeted body is the domain, and our tool body will be the cylinder. Apply. So we generate it, and there we have it. We just created the 3D from SolidWorks, and we imported it into ANSYS. So the disadvantage of doing this is that whenever you create your geometry inside of ANSYS, if you go into the actual sketch, you can change the dimensions of either your domain or your cylinder. So that's one of the good advantages that ANSYS has if you work inside of Design Modeler. So in this case, we would not be able to modify the geometry inside of ANSYS. We will have to go back into SolidWorks and then we'll modify it into ANSYS. So, and now we will try to do it also for the 2D part. So if we do the 2D part for a 2D simulation, we will do something similar to what we have done. So we'll go to front plane, we'll create the circle that we want. I'm just gonna use the same dimensions as a 3D. So we have this. We'll create a rectangle from the center. It is some smart geometry. Now that this is 20. Now that this is 60. There we have it. So a lot of people, what they would do is that they will try to import this geometry just as this figure, and that is not gonna work very nicely inside of ANSYS. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna go to Analysis, Preparation. We're gonna go to Surface, create a planar surface, and there we have it. We have our 2D plane, for a 2D simulation of a cylinder. You will do the same thing. You will save it as. You'll name your part to the geometry. You'll select where to save it. I don't know. You can save it on your desktop. Same thing. Your file, you're gonna save it as an IGS file. I'm not gonna save it right now just because I already have my part set up. So inside of ANSYS, wherever you save your file from, we're gonna import it. We're gonna go to part. It's gonna ask us to generate it again. So we generate it, and there we have it. We have our 2D plane. So you can actually import more complex geometries. You'll find out that there are several ways to import a geometry into ANSYS or from different softwares. And now you know that the process to do it with two simple examples.